A.B. Ott Cribbs is a name known by just about everyone in Arlington. He's a man that you might say has become a legend in this mid-city. Ott Cribbs has been a law enforcement officer in Arlington for 46 years. 36 of those years he has been chief of police, a record in Texas law enforcement. Chief Cribbs has seen this city grow from just a few thousand to now over 100,000. He has seen Texas law go through a tremendous change as chief of police. With only 1 month left in office before his retirement January 31st, Chief Cribbs reflected today on his 46 years behind a badge.
Well, back in those days, you had to work more or less by yourself, single-handed, and you had to no radios and no way to have no help. You had to do it yourself. You didn't have nobody you could call on nobody to come help you, and you had to take care of your own business. If you started something, you had to finish it.
Chief Cribbs was honored by citizens of Arlington just before Christmas. He was presented with a new pickup truck and camper in appreciation of his many years of service. And the citizens of Arlington described him in this manner: Chief Cribbs' personal qualities has impressed both the public and all other law enforcement agencies from the federal level on down. The impression being respect, and respect is man's greatest asset. You cannot buy it. It is earned. Jim Green, Channel 8 News on the Move, Arlington.
Really, I think the basic issue is whether it's worth it to the policyholder to save what amounts to about 2 tankfuls of gas a year and obtain an insurance product from an industry which would have been bankrupt 3 times already in this century, riding at between 3 and 4 to 1, or whether it's worth the price of paying that extra tankful or 2 of gas a year and get a solid product. I think that's the real issue.
I heard a awfully loud explosion which knocked me out of bed. And I run to the door and fire was going 60 foot high in the boat stall. Houseboat blowed up, total 3 houseboats, and tore 6 more part lip. And it looked like it's going to be around a $40,000 damage. And We've had the sheriffs here, the fire wagons here, and the FBI is supposed to be out this evening or in the morning. Whether they be here or not, I couldn't tell you.
Definitely some of them will commit their lives to Christ.
What's in store for the world if you don't?
We believe that there is no hope if we don't reach our goals, or if Christians as a whole don't reach their goal of reaching this world for Christ. And if we can reach students for Christ and have their lives changed by Jesus Christ, that we will change our world. We'll see our world revolutionized, and we believe it'll happen in our lifetime.
Does the world need Christ? There's some people at Lee Park that think so. Leo Langlois, Channel 8 News. Jerry, as a result of the rally that's taking place, and the as you called it, the one-on-one rap session, where the believers speak to the non-believers, as coordinator of this rally, do you think there's going to be any new believers in Christ?
Well, Leo, yes. Every time that we've had some kind of a rally like this, where we've shared our faith in Christ, we always find that there are some that are interested. Whether they came to the rally expecting to really find some answers is beside the point. Many of their minds have been joggled.
Congressional redistricting is going to be a very difficult problem. I feel that this session of the legislature should attempt to give the urban areas, to give Texas cities the congressional representation they're entitled to. This means that we'll take a county like Dallas County and give them their full congressional representation before we start dividing parts of that county into the rural congressional districts.
Well, presently Dallas has parts, very small parts generally speaking, of 5 congressional districts. In other words, you're talking about giving Dallas then just 2 or 3 complete districts.
Yes, I would think that the population of Dallas should be fitted into congressional districts within Dallas County before we started dividing off 1, 2, or 3, or 4 parts of the counties into other congressional districts throughout the state.
The city of Flower Mound was incorporated in 1961 to prevent its annexation by the city of Irving. Even with the construction of Lake Grapevine on the outer perimeter of the city, growth has been rather slow. In fact, the population has been so sporadic, the town fathers have been rather reluctant to commit themselves in writing. One of the ladies who has been here since 1936 and has seen the fabulous growth of Flower Mound until this point is Mrs. W.V. Griffis. She is a business lady here at Griffis Corners. I asked her just how this would affect her future business opportunities.
Well, we've been trying to figure it out. We're not quite sure. It's going to be quite a burden, I'm sure, at first.
What sort of burden?
Well, overpowering us and not being able to take care of things, and taxation to help get the developments going.
Are you in favor of this new development?
Yes, being a businesswoman, I am.
Father Schultz, how will this affect religious training and religious education in the area with 60,000 new people?
Well, I imagine there'll be a lot more institutions put in the area in order to cope with the influx of the people coming in here. Of course, we're out at the monastery, and so we have our own place, our own base of operations, which we'll work from.
Will this open a new mission field for you?
Quite possibly. We don't know what we'll do when the people come into this area, but I'm sure we'll be able to cope with the situation and help out where we're able.
Lawrence, what was your reaction when you heard the news that 60,000 people might be moving into this area?
Well, it was a great shock to me when I read it, but I'm sure the Flower Mound officials, they knew what all was coming off or going on before this all took place, but if whenever a need arises for anything, I'm sure they know how to take care of it. We'll work with them.
Since 1961, Flower Mound has not had a rapid growth rate, but in the next 20 years, it should be an entirely different story, and should be a heck of a New Year's Eve 20 years from now. Art Sinclair, Channel 8 News on the Move, Flower Mound.
The basic problem was to get the employer and the potential employee together to discuss possible employment. The combined Dallas-Fort Worth Careers Opportunities Conference, conducted today and tomorrow at Greater Southwest International Airport, provided this vehicle. Booths such as this one set aside for interested corporations of the Dallas-Fort Worth area so they may talk with future graduates. Sally Evans and Linda Lester are representatives of a large area department store. Sally, what do you find students are interested in mostly while searching for a career?
Well, I think mostly they're looking for an opportunity to be creative and to be industrious in what they're looking for, as they are looking for a lifetime career at this time.
Linda, what questions do you find that students are asking you most when you interview them?
Well, I think, first of all, they're asking if, number one, are we hiring? With the job market as tight as it is right now, that is the prime concern. And secondly, I have a lot of questions about progress. They don't want to just remain stagnant. They really want to get somewhere in the firm they become employed with, and they like to know what kind of progress can be made.
Do you have a lot of questions concerning benefits and salary?
Yes, I have. It's surprising. Youth of today is very interested in what they can get in that area from a company, and I've had several questions about that.
Heretofore, separate conferences have been held in both Dallas and Fort Worth. This is the first combined conference as such. Officials here say the success of the conference depends upon cooperation between the potential employer and the potential employee. If things go as they have today, it is a success. Jerry Park, Channel 8 News on the Move, Greater Southwest International Airport.